My friends, welcome to day 2 of the 30-day guitar challenge. This is normally the guitar show, but we're doing things a little bit differently this month. So welcome, first off. I hope everybody is doing well today and feeling positive and up and all the rest. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what's going to happen today, and then we're going to get straight into it, okay? So we heard from the White House that we're going to be doing 30 days of this, lockdown, quarantine, that sort of thing. We're all in this together, so me and the team said, let's put something together here so that folks can learn guitar. They say it takes 30 days, 21 to 30 days to develop a great habit, and what better habit than to learn music and to pour our hearts out into music, and what a great time to do it, right? So we're kind of all forced into this. You've said to yourself, hey, if I ever had the time, I would learn guitar, and now we're all here. So that's what we're doing for the next 30 days. What I'm doing is I'm going live with you. So we started a couple days ago. I kind of introduced everybody to the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, which you can get into for free. It's the second link below. The first link below is the PDF that you should have downloaded already. If you have not, then please do that. Download that PDF because it's going to give you a schematic, if you will, of what's going to happen for the next 30 days in regards to lessons and all the rest. So we said, let's have this so that folks can get in there. They can get into the program for free. And then also, let's walk them through it. So for 30 days, because there's 30-ish lessons in there, maybe like 33, 36, something like that, ish lessons. And so I'm going to walk you through it each day. I'm going live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 11 to 12, I'm going to be teaching a beginner lesson. Today, I'm going to be talking about the psychology of guitar. I kind of touched on this yesterday. I'm being a little bit malleable with the lessons here inside the course, but essentially you're going to be in the same place if you're doing this day by day. And you can go and you can advance forward if you prefer. Okay, so that's what we're doing. The first hour here, I'm going to be talking about the psychology of guitar. Then I'm going to be getting some questions from you guys and answering some questions. Anything on guitar, anything about anything right now, right? We're one big happy family. And then at the 12 o'clock mark, I'm going to be talking to you about staying in tune. There is a real art to this. There's some things to know about staying in tune, and it's probably not the things that you think it is that keeps you in tune. Okay, you can keep an old ratty guitar in tune oftentimes. You can have a brand new guitar stay out of tune. So it depends on what you're doing, how you're treating the strings, how you're tuning, etc., etc. We're going to go over all that at the 12 o'clock mark, and then I'll be getting more questions from you and answering questions. So for the next 2 hours, I'm here for you, okay? Also, I spoke to my good buddy, Corey Congilio, yesterday, and I believe he's going to be going live after this at 1 o'clock. So I'm gonna see if I can't get some other Nashville folks to do this where we could have a whole day of events. Wouldn't that be so cool if we were all teaching here? So I'm talking, I've got some feelers out to some other folks as well, but Corey is doing this, and we'll drop his link in after this is all done here so that you can go visit him. Amazing guitar player and amazing teacher. All right. Okay, I think that covers the basic bits here, okay? So right now, make sure you download the PDF. It's the link that's right below this in the description of the video, right below it. And we're going to be on day 2. That'll help you. There's also some other things in there in regards to, you know, we're here for 30 days. Why not go ahead and dig into some stuff that might encourage you, strengthen your soul, strengthen your spirit, strengthen your body, eating right, working out, that sort of thing. We got the time to do it. We're literally kind of not forced, I don't want to say, but we don't really have much of a choice here, right? If we want to help other folks out. So we're here. So let's embrace the suck, as they say in the military, and let's make the best of this, okay? And we can do this because there's just nothing but winners in here, okay? Dominic, thank you so much for the donation. By the way, thank you for your time. Had to drop out of the business call in order to attend the stream. Priorities. Thank you so much, Dominic. Very much appreciated. And friends, if you can't donate today, that's totally fine. But bottom left-hand corner, if you want to, there's a smiley face and then a dollar symbol, and if you click that, you can donate if you feel inclined. Okay. But if you could, I know you can do this, you can like the video and you can also share it. That lets other folks know that, hey, we're doing something very positive here. We are keeping our minds on things that we can do to improve ourselves, etc., etc. Okay, so that you can do for me. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, okay? Okay, let's talk about this, what I call the psychology of guitar. I talked about it a little bit, and in fact, some of the stuff I talked about yesterday was some of the stuff that I should have talked about today, but it's okay. We're going to cover it all, especially with the Q&A, okay? All right, so yesterday I said we went over the overview of guitar, like the things that you're going to run into that are probably going to, frustrate you, telling you about your fingers will probably hurt a little bit, that sort of thing, okay? So that stuff is good to know, and if you've been playing for a while, that's no big deal to you. You know about that. But we've got a lot of folks that are just starting off, and they don't know that because you'll see the questions pop up in the chat all the time. Should my fingers hurt? Should the muscles in my hands hurt? Should this be difficult? Should this be frustrating? All the rest. And the answer is yes, 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 yes to all those things. And if they're not, that would be very, very strange because the best guitar players in the world had to go through the gauntlet. Okay, they had to develop calluses. Their fingers did hurt. They were frustrated. They did think they weren't cut out for guitar, etc., etc. Just like you, they thought they had fat fingers. They thought they weren't talented enough, etc., etc. And those are the things that we're going to be talking about today as well. So basically, the psychology of guitar. Psychology of anything is really important. Psychology of business, psychology of relationships, psychology of life. It's important to know how we think and to understand maybe things that we're thinking that just aren't true at all. And if you're basing your foundation on something that's not even true, well, then that's really unfortunate for you because that very strong building may be, it's going to be as weak as the foundation. David in Canada, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Super kind. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, David. And I love that avatar. All right. So let's talk about it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, talent versus practice. I probably could have renamed that video a little bit something that made a little bit more sense because as I think about it, the word talent is a word that people throw around a lot. And I think that it's a word that we could use, but unfortunately, I think that the way that people use it a lot of times when they say talent is they mean something that's maybe inbred in somebody who's born with it. Like people will say this all the time about the greats, about whatever it is, a great actor, a great guitar player, a great athlete, a great singer, whatever. They'll say, oh yeah, they were born with that. And they do a lot of assumptions, which is unfortunately not only completely incorrect, but it's also really inconsiderate for the person who's done so much hard work. I guarantee you that any guitar player who I've had on the show, who I've interviewed, who I've done lessons with, what have you, they've all worked tremendously hard at their craft because I only get the best folks, right? And so there's no way that they just happened upon that. So this idea of, being born talented is a ridiculous notion. I know because you'll see it right here, right now. Now that I just said that, I literally triggered people. You're going to see people in the chat say, yeah, but Mozart, yeah, but whoever, and they're going to name whoever it is that they have that myth about, that person has that myth about. But the truth of the matter is, if people were born with this, then they would be able to. Kelly, thank you so much for the donation. Super kind. So appreciate that, Kelly H. Thank you. Those that believe this, they think that people are born with this. I challenge you and I say, why are there no babies that are creating symphonies? Why aren't there any babies landing us on Mars? Why aren't there any babies doing all these things? And you might say to yourself, well, that's ridiculous, Eric. They haven't grown up yet. They haven't developed, they haven't walked, they haven't learned a language. They haven't, they can't write yet. Well, guess what? All of those things are things that are learned. So Mozart, even at 4, when he was writing and playing the harpsichord or whatever, there was a first day for Amadeus. There was a first day where Mozart sat down and started pecking stuff out. Now, he might have had more of a desire to do it, more of a passion, okay? But when you when you start leaning on this side of wait, there's people that have an advantage over me, that, as I mentioned yesterday, that leads to nothing but excuses, mediocrity, failure. I've never seen the fruit of that be something good. So if that's the desire, if you desire to be mediocre, if you desire to have zero fruit in your life, if you desire to always be living behind an excuse and not being the unlimited person who you can be in every facet of your life, if you took the time and the energy to invest in that time, then don't let me stop you from being completely mediocre. But for those who are listening and those that know the truth, let's continue, shall we? So this idea of talent versus practice, what you're going to find is the more that you practice, the more talented that you become. It's just very, very, very simple math. And if you don't understand this, then just believe me and invest your time into whatever it is that you want to get better, and you are going to get better at it. But if you think that you are born with some sort of talent and you don't sit there and work on it, I guarantee you, I'll bet any amount of money on anybody, anytime. Has to be a proven environment, you know, not just saying the name Elvis Presley. He obviously was born talented. Just don't do that. It would have to be something that we could measure, and I guarantee you I'll win all the money because I've never seen it. I've taught over 10,000 one-on-one lessons, and I saw people come in and I really thought, wow, this kid's going to be good. He's learning really quickly. And inevitably, most of those kids ended up becoming lazy because they'd always been told, hey, you're really good. They would end up becoming lazy and wouldn't practice. And they would end up just evening out and not being anything special. And then there were those kids that just came in and they just put their head down. They were hard workers, and inevitably they rose to the top and they became my best students. I see this all the time in Nashville. I have people that come to me, or my wife, she's a songwriter, a producer, and they'll bring, you know, a rising star, a new singer, a girl who's 12, who's singing so good at her age. And I always say, so what? I mean, that's great. Wait till she's 16. Wait till she's 21. She'll be similar to all the other singers that are really great. So for being 12 years old, she may be a great singer right now, but that doesn't mean that she's going to continue that growth. Some people just get it a little bit earlier, but at the end of the day, it's all about practice, okay? So possibly the most important thing for you to understand, because literally you are in control of your own destiny, not just on guitar, but in everything. You're the one who has the wheel, okay? Unless you're a baby or unless you're incarcerated or something like that, you're the one who makes decisions for your lives, okay? Okay, we'll keep going, and I can answer questions about that later on. Okay, also, really, when we're talking about learning how to play guitar, we're talking about the left hand, we're talking about the right hand, and we're talking about your knowledge. And it really can be broken down into those three different areas. That is it. Getting good at fretting, getting good at picking or finger picking, combining the two, obviously, synchronization. And then your knowledge of the fretboard. So you could be super dexterous on the guitar and still not know what you're doing. Or conversely, I gotta move this down, sorry, it's driving me nuts. Or conversely, oh, please don't break. Please don't break. This is the jankiest little thing I have this on. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so conversely, you could know a lot about the instrument and not be able to execute it with your fingers just because you haven't practiced. So just remember, there's really three things. It's the left hand, right hand, and then what your knowledge, okay? You might say there's a fourth, your emotion, but that's something that's innately just going to come out when you play, okay? But you have to have the bits and pieces in order for it to come out into your fingers and be able to let your emotions show, okay? All right, let's address this too old, too young, fingers are too big, fingers are too small, you're too big, you're too small, I'm tone deaf, etc., etc. Tons of myths out there, okay? The only one that may have just a teeny, eensy, weensy, and I personally still don't believe it, a teeny bit of truth might be the tone deaf part, because I understand there's something that very few people have. It's probably not you. It's that you just don't have the understanding of music yet, okay? But people say tone deaf. Well, I can't sing. That means I'm tone deaf. That does not mean that. That means you just haven't practiced, okay? Because at the end of the day, I might as well start with this. At the end of the day, any sound that you hear, whether it's this or this, it has a pitch or a bunch of pitches, okay? It has a frequency. And when someone says you're tone deaf, when they mean tone, they mean pitch. That's like saying pitch deaf. Well, you're pitch deaf. And as far as my understanding of science, the only thing that's producing sound in your ears is the vibration of your eardrum, which means it's being vibrated by something else, airwaves, because of a string that's played or a hand that's clapped or something like that. So if you're hearing that, that's pitch, you're hearing pitch. So what somebody's saying is at the same time, you can't hear pitch. So you're hearing pitch, but you can't hear pitch. I don't believe it. I'd have to know more about it. I've read about it. It still doesn't make any common sense to me. And like I said, it's such a minute amount of the population. Don't use that as an excuse. Because again, if you want excuses to not play guitar, then just don't play guitar. Yeah, otherwise, that's probably not why you're here. You're here because you want to play guitar. Okay, so there's that. Too old, too young. Man, I have folks, I've started kids playing guitar as young as 5 years old. I have folks that are in their 90s inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. And guess what? The 70, 80, and 90-year-olds, when they start to play guitar, they never have I once heard them say, am I too old? How about that? I have a ton of 20-year-old-ish people asking, am I too old to play guitar? How about that? Isn't that weird? Yeah, I think that's very, very strange. So you're never too old. You're never too young. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to grow, and science has proven back not too many years ago, probably less than 5 years ago, it was believed that at a certain point neuroplasticity stopped. You were not able to grow your brain. They found out that that is not true whatsoever, and it doesn't matter what age you are, your brain will grow. Of course it will. I'm not a scientist, but I knew that all along. I've always known that. And this, again, is where science fails us because people, they go, well, this is what we know, boom. And then they really don't know everything. So there's evidence that comes out through just experiential things, and that sometimes cannot just be explained by science right away. So good news is your brain can grow no matter what age you are. 105, doesn't matter. Your brain can grow, okay? No coordination. People say, oh, I'm not coordinated. Well, it's because you haven't practiced enough. That's the only thing it is, okay? If I go play baseball, if I go play basketball, I was MVP on my basketball team for 1 year. Not because I could hit that basket, because every single time I threw it at that basket, I missed. I suck at throwing the ball at the basket. I got MVP because I would steal the ball from everybody because I was super fast, and then I would throw it to the tall kid in my team, and he would always basket it. That he just practiced hitting baskets. So that's what he was good at. I was good at stealing the ball and throwing it to the guy that made the basket. We were a good little team. Bottom line, no coordination comes from not practicing. And 0 people have coordination at guitar when they start. Okay, so you're in good luck. You're in good company, I should say. You always have to start at the beginning. I have so many people get into this course and they say, where should I start? Probably at the beginning. That's the best place to start. Linda, thank you so much for the kind donation. I just saw this come in. My computer, for whatever reason, takes a little while for that to jump, for me to actually see that. Linda's saying, 60s rock, never too old to learn a new language. Beautiful. Love that. Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you for the donation. Super duper kind. Okay, so we went over that. Bad ear, no coordination, right? More practice equals more better. Bottom line. Little practice equals a little bit better. It's real basic science, but a lot of people miss this, okay? So just understand that. Your spirit is unlimited, okay? Your mind, your brain, your body has an expiration date, but you are an unlimited being. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do, okay? You've got to get that mindset going before starting off on something like this. Otherwise, you're going to self-destruct yourself, okay? Okay, now that's all I want to talk about on the psychology of guitar. We're going to get to some questions here, so get those questions ready. let me catch folks up if folks are just coming in here. Right now, this is the 30-day guitar challenge. I'm going to be with you for 2 hours. Don't forget to download the PDF. It's the first link right below this video in the description of the video. Download that. Also, don't forget that every video that I'm talking about, every lesson that I'm talking about in the beginner section of this, okay, every single day for the next 30 through all of April, is covered in high detail with PDFs, with email support, with videos of me in the studio teaching you this stuff for free in the second link below. That is the Unstoppable Guitar System. You can get in there into the beginner section for absolutely free. You never get charged for it. You can get into the Unstoppable Guitar System Pro. We have a monthly fee. We've got a lifetime membership, or you can just test drive it for 30 days for $1. All those links, the second link below, it will get you into all that. Cool? Okay, awesome. All right, let's get into some questions here. And I really don't like that. Don't like that YouTube's doing that to me. Not cool. Okay, for some reason I can only see some of the comments here. So hang on here, okay? Because I really want to get to all your comments. And unfortunately, okay, there we go. Cool. Got it. All right. So let's make this bigger. Okay. I'm a beginner and I would like to know, should I buy a looper pedal and win? Oh, hold, somebody said, I paid $400 for your premium course. It wasn't that structured and helpful. It wasn't? Rizhab, if you think it wasn't, that's the first time I've ever heard that, and that's perfectly fine. That's why we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. So, number one, you didn't pay $4,000 for, and I don't have a premium course. I have, make sure that we're talking about the same thing and make sure that you're saying wasn't instead of was. Because that stuff's important, right? That's why we offer a 100% money-back guarantee, no questions asked. If you don't like the course, because listen, friends, there's over 1,000 lessons in there. We have courses from some amazing musicians in there. I've been doing this for over 30 years now, and this course has been live since 2012. So there's a lot of information in there. It's step by step. And at the end of the day, that's why we offer the free course. That's why we offer the $1 course. So and that's why we also offer a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. Okay? So feel free to get in there. And if you don't like it, I do not want your money if you don't like it. We want people who are excited about it and who get it. Okay? No, won't worry me at all if you don't like it. Okay? Eric, can you give some insight on borrowed chords and parallel scales? James, that's a really hefty subject, and I have videos on this, but I can kind of broad stroke it. Borrowed chords are chords that fall outside of diatonic harmony. Diatonic harmony is that harmony which is based off the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And the chords are major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. Borrowed chords is when we borrow chords from any other key other than the key that you're actually in. You usually only will grab 1 or 2 chords at a time. It's called a temporary key change or a transmutation, or there's lots of different names for modal interchange. But nonetheless, you're basically changing the key for however many chords you're borrowing from another key. Okay? I have lots of videos on this inside of the course, James, and on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage borrowed, okay? Oh, he's saying for the Udemy course. No, there's no $4,000 for any Udemy course. People are buying courses on there for $5. So you are talking to the wrong instructor. I've never sold a course for $4,000. Never. Okay? I like to finger pick. What is the best way to stop my fingers from touching other strings? Kathleen. Kathleen, I'm not sure what you mean by touching other strings. If you're meaning by finger picking, then to float your hand above the strings as opposed to just like laying them there all the time. So when you pluck a string, let your finger come away from the guitar a little bit. You shouldn't be like resting them the whole time. You pluck a string, and that's what you're doing. See how I'm plucking the string, but then I let them ring out. So you're just touching the strings is what you're doing. Jared said, when people with no arms still learn to play guitar, you really don't have any excuse. That's true. People who have excuses are limiting themselves. It's unfortunate. And some people think that I'm a hard ass about this, but my job is to not placate people and keep them into mediocrity. That's not my job. My job is to help people play guitar, to introduce them to guitar, to get them through to advanced levels, to introduce them to other great guitar instructors. That's my job. And I am never going to lie to someone and say, you're right, you're not cut out for guitar, you probably don't have it within you. Why would I do that? That's lying to them just to make them feel good for the second. And then they're gonna go home and still feel like crap. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make them feel real uncomfortable for a minute, get them out of their psychology, and I'm going to get them into the area where they understand that they can do whatever they want, but that it also takes work, okay? Someone's saying, how can I stop squeaky strings? Listen, when you move your hands on the guitar, they squeak. Don't worry about that. That's what makes the guitar the guitar. That's something that will happen in time, Albert. It will happen in time. But if you notice, when you go to a keyboard and it has a guitar sound on it, they always include these squeaky sounds because that's what a guitar sounds like. That's what it should sound like. So otherwise, it's not as much a guitar anymore, right? So don't worry about that. That will happen in time, okay? My hands are extremely sweaty and my strings get rusty really quickly. What do I do? So I mentioned this story about my friend, Jason Hamilton. He's a great guitar player. He's in a band called Soulskin. Went to college with him. A good buddy, an amazing guitar player. And whenever he only did this, I only let him do this a couple times. If he touched my guitar and play it, he would rust my strings. The strings would rust the next day, literally. He had some sort of weird pH thing going on with his sweat. Very, very rare. I've never met another human other than him that did this to a guitar. So it's probably that your pH is kind of off in some ways. I would suggest having a more alkaline type diet, but in the meanwhile, if you don't care to change your diet, then what I would do is suggest getting some coated strings like elixirs, E-L-I-X-I-R. Get some elixirs, they're coated so that they won't corrode. I've been trying to figure out chord progressions for Young Gun Silver Fox kids. Couldn't find it online. Any tips on transcribing? My ears are okay, but not great. Finn Jr. Yes, do a little Google search for that because chances are somebody else has indeed done that. They have, I'm sure, transcribed it, got the chords, something. What I do when I'm trying to transcribe a song is I'll pull up live videos. I'll watch if they're capoing. I'll watch where they're playing. If they're playing a C chord here and I play a C chord and it doesn't sound like it's in tune, they're probably tuned down. That tells me right away I'm tuned down. So pulling stuff off of live recordings, searching for the tab, Ultimate Guitar, ultimate-guitar.com, looking for tutorials on YouTube, etc. There's a million different ways you can do it. Slowing it down within YouTube or some other sort of program. Lots of different ways to do it. And if you're saying your ear's not very good, the way to get your ear to be really good is to just headlong into it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get everything, but you have to try. And the more that you just go into it with this notion of whatever, I'm going to do what I can, then you will see lots of great milestones because of it. But if you go, well, my ear's only so good, I don't think I can do it, well, then you're not going to get good at this. You have to just go as if you're going to be able to do it all, and when you can't, it's okay. You've done something, okay? Can you talk a bit about Travis picking? How important is it to learn? I've been trying to learn for a few days, but could not figure it out. Burak. If I think I have one video for this on YouTube. Search Your Guitar Sage Travis picking. I have a whole course for it inside of UGS. It's a fairly lengthy subject. It has to be taught step by step, okay? And if it's not, you're gonna have a lot of difficulty with it. So like, if I were teaching this, right, I'm gonna teach you how to play that thumb part first. Then I'm gonna teach you how to go. I'm gonna teach it nice and slow. But if you don't learn it very slow, what happens is people try to learn way too many steps at once, and then they get frustrated. They think they're not cut out for it. Nothing could be farther from the truth. You're trying to learn it too quick. If it were a sandwich and you were trying to eat it, your esophagus would tell you you can't handle that much. But when it comes to learning, we don't have an esophagus that says you can't handle that much. We just think that we can do it because we're humans and we're super duper smart, and we just think we can take it like that, and we can't, okay? So you gotta learn it step by step. How important is it to learn? If you like Travis picking, things like, if you like Merle Travis, and if you like Les Paul, and if you like Chet Atkins, and if you like Joe Robinson and Colin Hill, and these other guys that I've had on the show, the last two, not the other three, but you know, Tommy Emmanuel, that sort of thing, those guys really love Travis picking. They're really good at it. So if you like that style, that would be great. But if you don't like that style, it's not important at all. Okay. How important is the shape of the guitar neck? If you mean the shape of the guitar neck for you playing, if you're asking that question, you're probably a newer player, and it doesn't matter at all. Okay, what matters is you practicing, getting your hands on the instrument and practicing, okay? Later on, when you become such an amazing guitar player and you're looking for a C-styled neck and in a 12-inch radius, etc., those are the sorts of things that will probably matter to you. I've been playing for 30-something years, 35 years now, 36 years, and that stuff still doesn't matter that much to me. I have guitars with big fat baseball necks, others with real thin necks, one with wider necks, smaller necks, longer necks, shorter necks, tall frets, short frets, and I love them all, okay? So, but some real high-end guitar players that are playing one specific way all the time might lean towards a very specific type of guitar, but typically not until you start getting to these really higher levels of playing guitar, okay? On the finger picking, do you assign the thumb to the top strings and index, middle, and ring to the bottom three? Yes. Or do you float the index and middle on the bottom three strings? You can. There's different ways. So country pickers will typically use thumb first and second. Or if they're using a pick, they'll use the pick, second, and third finger. They won't. Rarely do we use the pinky. You can, but you rarely have a need to use it when you're finger picking or hybrid picking. Okay? Okay, good. Hybrid picking, best way to learn Travis picking. They're different things, so they're just different things. There's not a best way. Learn basic finger picking as I teach it. On YouTube, search Your GuitarSage finger picking and I'll show it to you. That's the best way. That's the way that you're gonna use it the most. Then you can branch off into hybrid picking. You can branch off into Travis picking, whatever you wanna do. Okay? Well, I learned faster to lower action or higher action. You won't learn any faster. It'll be a little bit easier on the fingers. Does that make sense? James, coming in with a donation and a really fun little avatar there. Thank you, James. Super kind. Really appreciate that right now, man. Really do. Thank you. What's the best song to play in 2020? I don't know what you like, so let's go with a song that you like. I always say to folks, I've got 1,300 something videos on YouTube, so search Your GuitarSage and then the favorite artist that you have. I might have a video for it. Your GuitarSage Elvis, Your GuitarSage Beatles, Your GuitarSage Clash, Your GuitarSage Pink Floyd, and you're gonna find some videos for you, okay? And I try to make it easy, okay? Do you recommend more advanced fretting hand muting exercises in your guitar system besides the basic ones? Mute with your thumb. So mute with your thumb, or can you show a bit right now? Congrats on the UGS course. It rocks. Thank you, Francisco. You know, I teach in the system, I teach any and all muting techniques that are used. So, I mean, it's either the left hand or the right hand. You're not using your nose or your calf muscle or anything like that. You're using the left hand or the right hand. So really, that's all it comes down to. And what I say is, you know, a lot of people get obsessed with, you know, I want to know all these muting bits. And it's like, that's cool. I have the videos for that. But my suggestion is don't learn a new technique or something unless you're going to use it right away. It's just like back in the day when I was learning vocabulary and they would give us a word and they would make us use it in a sentence. Because if you didn't use it in a sentence, if you didn't use it in the real world, it didn't really matter. You were just learning a definition, you probably would forget the word. But if you used it in a sentence, then it would become part of you. And the same thing with this stuff. If you don't apply it and start using it right away, then it's not going to stick, okay? The Chief, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. What is the technique to write music for lyrics? What is the technique? Okay, so it's not so much a technique, Chief, as it is understanding how certain chords go together, understanding how the melodies and the music go together. So understanding about the tonal center, understanding you know, the Nashville number system, or at least basic diatonic harmony, how the chords work together. The chords typically in a major key go major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to major. That little part that I just gave you is like gold. So write that down. Major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7. Okay, you can rewind on YouTube now. So just write that down, because those chords are the chords that go together. And if you want to know what the notes are, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. It's the major scale. I teach that inside the free course I'm giving you today, the second link below, okay? Then once you understand which chords go together, you know, like the G and the C and the D work really nicely together. So, you know, you pick a few chords that work well together, and then you start humming over top of it. Chances are you're going to be singing in the same key. It's literally that easy. Then start fitting your lyrics into it, okay? It's going to be awkward at first, but you have to start somewhere. There's no songwriter in the history of ever that jumped to intermediate or advanced songwriting. They always started at the beginning. In fact, as far as I know, everybody since the beginning of time has always started at the beginning for everything. I don't know of anybody who's always started at advanced. So let's get that crazy notion out of our head. You got to start at the bottom, and you got to be willing to pay your dues and to run the gauntlet. You've got to be able to, okay? If not, you're probably not cut out for whatever it is you're trying to do. And I mean that with the most love. I'm trying to save you time. And what I really prefer you to do is to step up and go, yeah, you're right, I'm gonna do the work. I'm not trying to discourage you, but if you're not gonna do the work, yes, I'm trying to save you time. Don't do it, because you're gonna fail, 100%. And there's no, I really mean that. You're just gonna fail then. So, but don't be that guy. Don't be that gal, okay? You don't have to fail. All right. Why is YouTube doing this? This is so weird. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Just subscribe to the 30-day free trial at video 16, so I'm learning and I'm liking it. I was about to quit until I stumbled across this channel. Thank you so much, Derek. Friends, listen to me. This is not just for Derek. It's not just for one person listening. If you want to learn guitar, you can learn guitar. As good as anybody else here, as good as any other amazing guitar player since the beginning of time. It's really a matter of practice. Can you practice the right parts? Can you focus on the right stuff? Can you put in the time? Can you put in the discipline? If the answer is yes, then you can be as good as any other guitar player, okay? But you do have to do the work. And I don't know about you, but Hendrix, my guess would be that he actually played a lot. He practiced a lot, or played. However you want to look at it. He had lots of time on the instrument. You don't trip into success. You don't trip into being an amazing actor, into being an amazing guitar player, into being an amazing songwriter. You don't just trip into that, okay? It becomes from hard work. How do we play guitar? By hearing. On YouTube, search YourGuitarSage ear. If you're inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, I have a whole course on this. Here's how I want you to do it to start, is I want you to just hum a note. If you can't do this, you can't do anything else. You gotta be able to hum a note. I was in between those two notes, but nonetheless. And then say I hummed a melody. I'm using the major scale there as I teach you inside of the free course today, the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. And once you know those shapes, and then you can find that first note, finding the other notes is very easy. This is why I say that ear training, or having a good ear, is about 80 to 90% understanding of music. Not so much your ear getting good, because the infant is going to hear the same chords and the same notes as the 97-year-old conductor. But the difference is the baby doesn't know what to do with it. The 97-year-old conductor says, oh, that's a major scale. Oh, that's the harmonic minor. Oh, that's this, that's whatever. Because they learned that stuff, okay? So you do have to learn some stuff. All right, so that's how you want to get good at guitar there. Friends, if you would, please like this video and share it with a friend if you would. I would really, truly appreciate that. Okay. Valentina, yeah, answered that one. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. That's indeed the truth, yeah. You started my question, then stop. I'm beginning, and I would like to know, should I buy a loop pedal and when? Yes, buy it right away. Should I do the 30-day course and maybe get after that, or when? Get a looper pedal now. Do the 30-day course now. Don't wait to get the looper pedal. Do it now. Now is the time. The clock is ticking. We will be one day, as Pink Floyd. I won't even say it. Time is ticking. Just do it, okay? While changing chords, all the fingers don't fall into place simultaneously, like changing chords from G to C. Kindly guide. Mina, they won't, because you just haven't practiced enough yet. Okay? Follow the video lesson that I have for you, the second link that's below. Get in the course for free. Follow the video that I have about transitions, okay? Watch that video, because for me to explain it, it's going to take 15 minutes. You got to watch that video. There's a specific way to do this, and if you don't do it, yeah, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to think that you're the problem. You're not the problem. It's just that you're not following the right method. You're okay? And I see, every now and then I see folks saying for me to play something. I've got so many loads of videos of me playing online. Get involved with my Instagram and my other places where I'm doing lots of playing, okay? Right now I want to teach, okay? But I have tons of stuff for playing. Thousands of bits out there. What's the best way to learn bar chords? I'm struggling with them at the moment. Lisa, watch my 2-part series on YouTube. Search YourGuitarSage bar chords. I have the medicine for what ails you. But don't learn bar chords before you've gone through those first 30 lessons. There's a reason that I'm sending you there, and it's so that you don't fail. Look, this is why I'm sending you there. My 4-year-old, who I love very much, I want him to succeed. I want him to be smart. I want him to be successful, all the rest. I'm not going to start him as a freshman in high school, even though I think he's pretty smart. I'm going to start him in kindergarten and preschool before that, because I want him to be successful and I want him to learn things in order, and I also want him to feel good as he's going along. If I just throw a 21-year-old project at him when he's 4 years old, you know, do this thesis, that's going to overwhelm him and he's going to automatically think he's dumb. This is what happens with guitars. People think they're dumb because they're not actually following things step by step. They think they want to skip over a bunch of steps. You can do that. You can go from 1 to 10 and skip over 2 through 8 or 2 through 9, but you won't have done them. And you're probably going to get really hung up on 10 and you're going to say, why am I hung up on this? Because you skipped a bunch of stuff. Don't skip. Don't be lazy. Okay? There's a lot of people in here who didn't get enough attention from mommy. None of my acoustic guitars have truss rods. Will that cause them to go out of tune faster? Rick, how do you know they don't have truss rods? They probably have truss rods, unless it's a classical guitar. There's some classical guitars that don't have truss rods. Most other guitars do have truss rods, okay? I assume no difference in learning being left-handed. Got a flip? Yeah. Yes. No difference in learning left hand than right hand. You're not handicapped in any way whatsoever. It's all the same. It's just the other way. That's it. Okay? And lefties don't, new lefties, sometimes they'll say, hey, I want all the materials flipped around, all the videos flipped around. And I used to do that, and then I had lefties who've been playing for a while say, please don't do that. It's actually really helpful to see the mirror image. So once you learn the basic bits of it and how to flip it in your mind, you won't want to do it any other way, okay? Okay. Do I have to learn bar chords if I don't plan on playing in bars? What's going on with, okay. Don't give any attention to these folks that obviously are seeking attention because they're literally they're that poor to spirit. How important is the circle of fifths and how do I apply it to playing guitar? Ramon, I've got a video for that on YouTube. Search Your Guitar Sage Circle of Fifths. It's very, very helpful to understanding different keys and what have you, but it's not something for beginners. It's something to do later on. Intermediate and advanced players, that would be great for. If you're a beginner, don't worry about it. It's cart before the horse. Make sure that you learn the right things first. That's going to make you a much stronger player, give you a sense of forward momentum and what have you, as opposed to delving into something that you're just not ready for yet. And chances are that's not going to be something that's going to help you right now. Which app is best for learning? Your fingers. The app that I'm giving you, the course that I'm giving you, that is best for learning. You can play the games, you can do all that stuff, but it's not like actually learning the guitar. It's not as quick. So the best app for learning is the app I'm giving you today. It's the second link below. Go through that, okay? My electric guitar always sounds fuzzy when I plug it in. How can I fix the buzzing sound? I would have to hear it to know. It could be a grounding problem. It could be that you've got single coil pickups and you're close to fluorescent lights. It's probably a grounding problem. There's many different things it can be. What I would say is get with a professional, a guitar player who knows their stuff, show it to them, and then they'll probably be able to diagnose it fairly quickly. There's no place on the tuning head for a truss rod, so I would assume that they don't have one. So the truss rod is underneath here, right? This is this little thing right here. The truss rod's right underneath there. And a lot of times you can see it underneath here too. There's like a little, well, you can't see it on this guitar, but it depends on the guitar. So you probably have one. Okay. When learning songs, should the focus only be on one at a time, or is it beneficial to work on a few containing different styles and techniques? Thank you for your time and dedication in teaching. Dustin, it's different for everybody, so what's good for you may not be good for another. Keep playing. Keep your mind in the game. Keep your head in the game. And if that means that you're bored on this one tune and you need another tune, like you really want to keep playing and this one tune's boring you, go to another tune. Keep playing. There are a million tunes. You're never going to learn them all, so you might as well just keep learning, okay? Nothing wrong to learn parts of tunes. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Just make sure that you're not cheating yourself, and if there's something you're saying, well, I don't think I can learn that. You can learn it. You may not be ready for it yet, or it may be a little bit overwhelming, but Don't be afraid of actually doing that later on, like learning all the parts of the tunes, okay? Eric, could you touch base on how to solo on a particular chord? Jay, I'll mention it very quickly because that's a very broad subject. I have a live lesson that I did called Chords Over Melodies or something like that. It's a live broadcast. Search YourGuitarSage Melodies Over Chords. And essentially, when we're in a key, which is 99.9% of the time, when we're in a key, there are certain chords and certain melodies that work together. Okay, so all the notes in diatonic harmony, all the notes in the chords and all the notes in the melody in the song, if you're sticking to strict diatonic harmony, will only be 7 notes at the max. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1 again. And so when you play those chords together and then you play a melody or you play a scale that's within the same key as that, then those notes automatically harmonize. Some work better than others. So there's certain resting notes that'll work better than others. You have to experiment with this or you have to study it. So it's either just experiment with it or you need to study it. And it's not like a flippant answer that's going to get you there. You got to study it. And that's what I'm here for, okay? Les Paul, same size Allen wrench? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. I think truss rods are all different. Okay. Someone once said, if you kind of know something, then you kind of don't know something. Yeah, exactly. Where if you can't explain it, then you probably don't know it. Practice with a metronome is necessary. It depends on where you're at. If you are a musician who wants to get better at timing and you like working with a metronome, then yes. These are very broad questions, and I would have to know more about you as a player to know whether that was good for you or not, because sometimes that metronome can be very disheartening for a new musician. If that means that you're going to quit playing guitar, I'd say don't use the metronome. We always hear 1, 4, 5. Can you elaborate a bit deeper? Rob, that's a fantastic question. Thank you. Yes. So when we're talking about 1, 4, 5, you have to have some sort of knowledge of basic diatonic harmony or the major scale. So the major scale goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So counting those numbers, if we took the 1, the 4, and the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, see, 1, 4, 5. If we took those 3 notes, and we created the chords that are associated with those notes, which are 3 major chords, then we have the 1, 4, 5 chord progression, or some sort of 1, 4, 5 chord progression. So if we're in the key of G, G would be the 1, C would be the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there would be a C chord, and the 5 would be a D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a G, C, D would be a 1, 4, 5 chord progression. Doesn't mean, it doesn't tell you anything about the tempo, the strumming, anything. It just says that's a 1, 4, 5. We could do a 1, 4, 5 in the key of A. 1, 4, 5. Or in the key of C. 1, 4, 5. Or in the key of E. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. So that can be in any key. Does not matter. I've heard from many guitarists that learning the modes is useful for improvisation, but I also heard that it is useless to learn them. What would you say? Is it worth it knowing all or at least a few? I find that a lot of guitar players who don't know what they're talking about and they're trying to look like they know what they're talking about will say, yes, you really should learn the modes. Oh, the modes are so important, etc., because they're really getting their ego involved. At the end of the day, you literally could play 1,000,001 solos just by using the pentatonic scale or some slight variation of the pentatonic scale. So I know all my modes and all the different keys. I know what scales which ones should work over what chords and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, I hardly ever use them. It's not to say that some guitarists do use them more than others, typically jazz guitar players. But if you're asking that question, you probably don't need them. That's what I'm saying. So if a jazz guitar player would know that they should be able to use them in some way, okay? Oh, thank you so much, Kiefer. Appreciate it. Best guitar player in the world. God bless you. Guitar teacher in the world. God bless you and your family. Hugs from downtown Franklin. Beautiful, Kiefer. Also, Eddie Van Halen said he will call you about a guitar question. And so, Kiefer lives in the same town as me here. I'm stuck at a moderate speed for picking and playing. Any advice on how to increase speed and two-hand coordination? The answer, 100% of the time, always, for everything, is practice. That's all it is. Just embrace the suck, put your head down, practice. If I said anything more about it, I'd be a liar. So just practice. Thank you, Vincent. Some of them are. Learning all the different keys and work together in UGS Pro. Good. What is the correct way of practicing guitar? Follow the method that I'm giving you today. Follow the second link down here. Follow it in that order. Do as I say, step by step. You will not mess up. The only way you can mess up is if you quit. Does the 145 apply to minor keys as well? BL, it's a great question. So usually, when we're talking about a minor key, we're talking about the 6 in the series here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an E. So an E minor would be the 6 of G major. So when we're talking about a tonal center that's minor, we're talking about it being revolving around the 6th chord. And so you could have a minor 6, 1, 5, 4, that's a chord progression. Minor 6, 1, 5, 4. Different chord there, right? But so Wonderwall, that's minor 6, 1, 5. I won't even finish it because I've never played that song, because I am the one person in the world who friggin' hates that song. I've never liked that song. Sorry. I'm the one person in the world, but whatever. I don't like it. You know, we have different choices. We like different things. I don't like it. And I don't like those guys' attitude either. That's just me. Sorry. If you're a big Oasis fan, sorry. I don't like them. I always find it hard to find a rest position for my picking hand, and it discourages me to the point that I try to have the guitar in different angles. Any tips? Yeah, you just need to practice more. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You're not comfortable with it because you haven't done it enough. It's no other thing than that. Larry, this is beautiful. 100%. Guitar comes fast to people that practice 8 hours a day. Guitar comes very, very slow to people that practice for 15 minutes a day. It comes super fast for people that practice 16 hours a day. Is it fine to continue playing without a pick? If you want your chords to sound lame and quiet like this, yes, continue to play without a pick. Otherwise, learn how to use a pick. I'll show you how in the course that I give you for free in the second link below. Thank you, MSG Knight. There's a whole community meme. Well, no, people hate that song now because it was so popular. But even back in the day, I couldn't stand it. Oh my God. That guy's voice, I want to punch him. Sorry. And I don't want to punch many people, but I really want to punch that guy. One of the brothers. I don't even know who it is. Sorry, I know they're probably really talented. I just never got into them. I think they think they're much better than they are. That's the unfortunate. That's why I don't like them, is that they think they're much. I hate anything to do with ego is involved in art. It's the last place art should be involved in. I mean, it's the last place ego should be, is in art. It ruins art. And look, they can't even get their crap together to put a concert together for charity. Dear Lord, get your shit together, man. And I'm sorry if there's kids watching. I apologize. Yes. Mark, I developed a fingering picking guide for beginners. May I tell others? You just did, Mark. Yes, please tell others. What do you do when you don't know what to practice? Frodo. Means you probably don't have any sort of inspiration or muse. You need to have something that inspires you. So my question is, have you ever heard a song ever in the history of your life? Do you like that song? Why aren't you learning that song? So you should know what to practice. What do you like? It's as simple as that. Guys, don't complicate this. If a pretty lady's walking down the street, I'm not going to pull out my calculator and figure out if I think she's attractive. If you like guys, you know, if you're a lady and you like guys or whatever you are, and you like a blank, and they're walking down the street and you're like, attractive. Do you need to get out the abacus? Do you need to really think so hard? You just go, no, I like that. If you like a song, frickin' learn the song, Frodo. Okay? I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to incite you to do what it is that you know what to do already, okay? Play the friggin' song. What's the best pick for fast playing? Clara, practice. There is no fast pick. No such thing. Get any notion of that out of your head. There's no fast pick. There's practice. It's the only thing that works. When you become such a virtuoso player that you've practiced so much, you are going to gravitate to a certain pick, and you won't be on here watching me or asking me about picks. It's that you're not practicing. That's what you need to do. Okay? Bruce Springsteen, me too, I know. What do I think about thumb picks? I think they are a pick that goes on your thumb. What was a recent video or maybe a PDF discussing keeping the mind focused during practice? What was a recent video or maybe a PDF discussing keeping the mind focused during practice? Don't know what you mean. I addressed that earlier today, and yesterday I did. Oh, thank you, Bent. Thank you so much, buddy. So kind. Does anybody know Eric's hair regimen? Well, I can tell you this. This is only day 2, so let's talk about Eric's hair regimen on day 30, because it's gonna start looking really weird here. It's gonna look crazy. Can you explain a sus chord? Why do you replace the major, minor, third, practice, perfect fifth as if I ever know what a perfect fourth is? Super easy, Stafford. Watch this. A perfect fourth is the 4th note in the scale. If you're using the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a perfect fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a perfect fifth. Don't worry why they're called that. Just that's what we call them. Okay? There's a 4th, there's a 5th. You need to know the major scale. I teach that in the second link below in that free course I'm giving you guys today. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a perfect fourth. Okay? It's just a way to identify intervals. The intervals are distances between notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. It's that easy. So what's the 7? It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go through the major scale. It's that simple. So if somebody says a sus chord, what they mean is a suspended chord. The idea is that there's a note that's kind of floating in the air and it wants to resolve. So when it's a 4, it wants to resolve to a 3. Most chords are built on a 1, 3, 5. It's called a triad. And so when the 4 is in there, it wants to resolve either up to the 5 or down to the 3, so it's called a suspension. And so typically we leave out the 3. We can have the 3 in there, but we don't want to have the 3 and the 4 next to each other because they rub a little bit, like this sound. Or at best, actually, it would be more that sound right there. Actually, no, it would be this sound. They'd be a half step apart. So, for instance, if I had it's difficult to do too, since they're only a half step away. Typically, you're going to put the 4th on top of the chord somewhere. So, for instance, if we have a G major chord, if I wanted that to be a suspended chord, here's the 3rd. Here's the 4th. And you can hear if I play that, it wants to resolve to... Does that make sense? So that's what a suspension is. There's different types of suspension, but that's the one you're going to use the most, okay? Friends, if you would, please take a moment right now and like this video. Right next to it, you're going to see a little share button as well, okay? We're sitting here talking about it, so please. And in fact, I'm going to give you the rundown here. oh crap, I've gone over. We need to get to the pro lesson. Let's do that. So let's do that right now. We're going to get to the pro lesson, the intermediate pro lesson. But while we're doing that, please take a moment. I'm going to be jib-jabbing here for a second. Please like the video. That helps me. It helps other people know what we're doing. It takes a flippin' second to do, and that would show me your gratitude, okay? While you're at it, please hit the share button and share with this on Instagram, Twitter, someplace. Send it to grandma for all I care, but share it, because we would like to let other people know about this, and you doing that helps me do this, okay? Thank you. I really, truly appreciate it. Okay, so brief overview really quickly. We're doing 30-day guitar challenge here. We're going to break into the intermediate advanced section now, and so basically for all of April here, including Saturdays and Sundays, I'm going to be going live with you from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11 a.m. is going to be the beginner lesson, and then 12 p.m. is going to, did I say 1 a.m.? You know what I mean, 12 p.m. The first hour is going to be beginner. The second hour is going to be advanced. So we just got done doing the beginner bit and the Q&A there. Now we're going into an advanced bit, and then I'll do Q&A there till 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to hand it off after that to my buddy Corey Congilio, who's also going to go live. And I'm going to try to get some other Nashville buddies to do this as well. Maybe we could have a full day of curriculum of guitar. Wouldn't that rock? That'd be so awesome. So, okay, so that's what we're going to do. So make sure you do a couple things. Number one, go right underneath this video right now after you've liked and shared this. Go underneath this video, click on the link that says go here to download your PDF. If you go there, you can download a PDF. And it's going to be regarding what we're talking about over the next 30 days. There's some other free courses that are not even associated with guitar, but like for meditation and some other things, some other challenges for you. Friends, we're in this for 30 days, okay? Just embrace it. It's here. We're doing it. So just like put your head down and let's rock and roll. Let's do this, okay? Let's not pretend like it's not happening. It's happening. We're doing it, and we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna learn, and after 30 days, we're gonna be really good at the guitar. Okay? We know what to do. We don't have to keep on reiterating fear, fear, fear. Okay? We know what we're supposed to do. The extra fear isn't gonna help you. If a bear's chasing you, you run up the damn tree. You don't even need to be scared. Just get out of the way of the bear. The extra fear does not help you. And in this case here, this extra fear is not going to help you. It's going to F with you. Don't do it. You know what to do. Stay away from people. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't hug babies and shake hands and everything else right now. Just stay away. Okay? For 30 days, I say it takes 30 days to establish a great habit. 21 to 30 days, that's what we're doing here. We're establishing great habits. I want to remind you to keep your mind strong, keep your body strong, eat right, stop smoking, stop drinking, do whatever it is that you said that you would do, because you told me, I heard you. You said, if I had the time, I'd do blankety blank. Well, guess what? You got the friggin' time. We're all in this together. The whole world's in this together. So let's just put our head down and let's rock, okay? Let's do this. Let's talk about the advanced part. Oh, and the other part of this is I've got a free course for you. It's the second link below. Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. It's the top 30-ish, it's more than 30, lessons that I have for you. The ones that you see so many people asking questions about, right? Unless it's a black bear, they climb trees too. I know, yeah. Michael. For those of you who aren't in a course, you got to be in a step-by-step course. Or don't be serious about playing guitar. If you're serious about playing guitar, get in a daggone step-by-step course. Go buy a course or get into mine for free, the second link below. And if you're in there already, obviously you know there's 1,000+ lessons, 600+ jam tracks, live broadcasts. I'm going to be going live tonight at 7 o'clock and then tomorrow again at 4 p.m. for my Insight, my UGS folks, small group of folks that we rock with, okay? And if you get in now, you'd be privy to that, okay? At least in the paid version. You can test drive it for $1. You can do the monthly version. You can just jump in for lifetime and never have to worry about lessons again. I've got you covered, okay? You know what to do. All right, this is the second part of the lesson. This is the advanced part, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late, maybe even 10 minutes late. I apologize about that. Okay, so I said that we would talk about staying in tune. So this is our more intermediate advanced section here, and this is how it goes. A lot of people when they get a guitar, they can't keep their guitar in tune, and they think it's them again because they just don't understand. The guitar is affected by heat. It's affected by cold. It's affected by humidity. It's affected by, you know, lack of humidity. By bumps, by the way that you tune it, by the nut, by the strings, by lots and lots and lots of different things. So let's talk about this, okay? First thing, when you're tuning a guitar, you should always, this is the number one thing to keeping your guitar to stay in tune. You should always tune up to a note. Don't tune down to a note. But Eric, what if my string is tuned above the note? Then you tune it down and you tune it up, okay? You got to always tune up to the note. Why is that? Well, if you notice, the string goes from the peg here, right, into the guitar and below as well. And so what happens is the string tension is not consistent from here to here and from here to here and then underneath the saddle. Sometimes it's not. And so when it's not, if you bend a string or the temperature changes or something like that, it's going to pull one way or another, and then that uneven tension is going to dissipate one way or the other. It's either going to go up or down. And so that's why your guitar is oftentimes not staying in tune. I will tell you that I have a whole series inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System on this, and I have some free videos on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage tuning, and I'll guide you with this further. But let's talk about it right now. So when I'm tuning the guitar, what I like to do is, you may see this or not, let's see, yeah. Okay, so that's flat. Okay, so let me show you this, right? Why isn't that even showing up? Is that showing up there? There we go, okay. So you can see that's flat, right? So I'm gonna tune up to it till that's right in the middle. Now, another thing that I like to do, that you should do as well, is you wanna take your finger, put it underneath your string, take your hand and put it on the string like this. I'll even put my arm on the string like this, and I give it a little yankety yank. Yeah, go ahead, make your jokes, you little weirdos. But I'm gonna yankety yank here, okay? And then I'm gonna tune again. And now see how it's flat? Because I pulled the tension out of the string. Now I'm gonna tune it up. Now we should be good. I might be able to yankety yank again here and pull a little bit more tension out. Now with new strings, you have to do this a lot. But see how it flattened again? Okay, now I go to the A string, I'm good. It's a little bit flat, but I'm gonna pull the tension out. Now, typically I don't do this with a new, with strings that are older like this, but with new strings, you definitely have to do it. With strings that are a little bit older like this, you don't, most of the stretch is pulled out of it. And what I mean by stretch is, it's more just like it's settling. It's not the string's stretching a teensy bit, but what we're talking about really is more of the string settling down. Okay, so here we go, I'm gonna pick that, and you can see that that is slightly flat, and I'm tuning up to the note. Hopefully one of these will be tuned sharp. Okay, that guy's fine. But you can see I gave it a little pull, and that pulled it out. That one's in tune, but I'm gonna pull a little bit. Still in tune. That one's in tune, give it a little yank. Flat. And that's what I mean. If you don't, because when you're playing and you hit a chord, that's just like me pulling on the string like that, it pulls it out of tune. Now that everything is taut across the whole fretboard, then we should be good, you know? Okay, so a couple other things about tuning. You want to make sure that the nut of your guitar is cut, filed in such a way that the string is not hanging up here. You need to bring this to a pro. Don't try to do it yourself. Otherwise, watch lots of YouTube videos on how to do it, okay? I don't do it, and I've been messing with my guitars for decades now, but I prefer not to do it. There are guys that this is all they do all day long. Why wouldn't I give it to the guy that does it all day long instead of me? I'm also not going to work on my own heart surgery or whatever. You know, that's maybe not a good example, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to fix my own air conditioner. Okay, Mark, thank you so much. Mark, thank you so much for the donation. Everybody send $1 now. Boy, that'd be great. Everybody send $1 now. Thank you so much. Super kind of you, my friend. Beautiful. Thank you, Mark. Very generous. Okay, so the nut needs to be cut correctly. As far as strings, when strings get really, really, really old, okay, because I've found that I'll wear out some strings. I'll have them on there for a year. Now I have my guitar tech come twice a year and change my strings out. So so I've got new strings, what I call new strings, all the time. So he'll come after this whole mess is done. He'll come and restring all my guitars. He does it in the spring and in the fall. Greg Ellis, my guitar tech. And then I don't have to mess with it. And he'll adjust everything, make sure nothing's getting hung up, because guitars change over time too. So make sure that the nut is cut. Also, there's something called big bends, like bending a string, big bends, nut sauce. That's nut sauce, the stuff you put on there. I know, laugh, 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 you little pervies. But you know what I'm talking about? This is just for the nut to keep the strings slipping around in there, okay? That's what you want, a little lubrication. And then your guitar is going to stay in tune better. There's some other bits that I'm sure I've missed that, Ron, that I thank you. Thank you so much for the donation, buddy. I really appreciate that. Smiley face there with the glasses. Thank you, bud. Super, super kind. Oh, no, that's not your name, Ron. So it's Adrian. That's a unique spelling, Adrian. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, my friend. Okay, so watch that other video on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage tuning, and I have a whole series inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System for this, okay? You can use graphite. People are saying there's other things you can use. Yes, you can use a little bit of graphite, maybe a little bit of, back in the day when they didn't make this stuff, I would take graphite from a pencil and I'd grind it up, and then I'd take a little bit of like 3-in-1 oil or WD-40 or something like that. There's something, I think I even used like Vaseline at one point and put it underneath the string, and then when you lay the string in there, it slips, okay? But it's not gonna slip if your nut is cut wrong, okay? Where it kind of holds onto the string. And in time, they do that sometimes, okay? All right, good. Let's get to some questions, shall we? Larry is like that kid in class, Jason. He is. He's that kid. Okay. All right. Let's get to some questions. While I'm waiting on some questions, friends, if you haven't already, you know what to do. Thumbs up, please, on this video. And also, share this, if you would, please, with a friend. We would like to let other people know about this. If you haven't already, also, download the PDF. It's the first link that's below me. And then also get into the Unstoppable Guitar System. Either get in for free or join us monthly. There's a lifetime membership that we have. Where you never pay again after that. And then there's also a $1 trial offer where you get to see everything for 30 days. It's literally $1. So jump in there, have some fun. Just make sure that you if you want to get out before 30 days, and you won't ever get charged again. Otherwise, I think you're going to fall in love with it. And if you don't, we have a 100% money back guarantee. We don't want your money if you don't want to be in the course. Look, man, you can't be on the internet and be sustainable unless you're honest, unless you're telling the truth. At least in this business that I'm in, there's way too much competition. So, and plus that's the kind of guy I am. I'm not gonna be, if you don't like it, I don't want your money. I want you in there if you like it. I've literally had 2 people, I think, in the history of having this course, over a lot of people. We've had a lot of people, and we said, dude, it's 100% money back guarantee. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. Big deal. Get out of here. Okay, Stu Boy, I think I understand the basics of the major scale. Whole step, half, whole, half. The distance between one fret and the next is a half, and the distance between 2 frets is a whole step. So we can have, if we use that structure, we could create a major scale by saying whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So watch this. Here's the first note. And I say whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We could also play these across the fretboard like this. And Stu Boy is saying, I don't understand what you mean by the 1, 3, 5 scale steps. Well, these are the scale steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So in the case of a G major, you go the 1, skip over the 2 and play the 3, skip over the 4 and play the 5. So 1, 3, 5, that's a G major chord. And if you throw in a bunch of other 1, 3, and 5s in there, you get that big G chord that we're talking about. That's what I'm talking. Sometimes I find my guitar has different tuning with chords versus melody. Advice? That means that your intonation's either off or you're pressing the strings too hard. Okay, so make sure that you take your guitar to a professional where they can make sure that the intonation is correct, and then also make sure that when you're playing, you're not pressing down too hard. With guitar being your job, how do you stay motivated to get after it? Michael's saying. Michael, at this point in my life, I'm really passionate about teaching others. I used to be super passionate about being the best guitar player that I could be. I don't have the, I'm not, how can I say it? I don't have the option of being the best guitar player that I possibly can be while teaching you guys at the same time. It's just too much time and too much energy creating videos, going live, creating PDFs, guiding people, creating courses, the studio, everything else. So I don't have the option to do that. But it's okay, because years ago, my goals shifted to where I really wanted to help other people learn guitar. I wanted to encourage them and get them to understand that they can do whatever they want on the guitar. So that keeps me motivated, is seeing you guys get excited about stuff. That's very motivating to me. Bruce, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Okay. Do you teach skank guitar in your ultimate guitar system? Unstoppable guitar system. That's the technique I want to improve. Once again, your course is amazing. Francisco. Francisco, I have a lesson or two on skank guitar. And I think I may have one on YouTube too. But skank guitar is like, you know, like... it's, you know, funk, you know. That sort of thing. It sounds much cooler on an electric, but... Okay. Do I know any e-guitar brands from Europe that I can recommend? No. Get a real guitar. There's nothing wrong with e-guitars. If you mean like MIDI guitars, there's nothing wrong with that. I've played them before, I've used them before. All of 365, the whole 365 program was pretty much, all that tablature was created with a MIDI guitar, an e-guitar, instead of me having to tab all that stuff out with my keyboard. I actually did that on a MIDI guitar. So it's helpful for certain things, but as far as playing, it's like not very, it's not very emotional. Where's the Strat? The Strat is here. It made the cut from the studio. It's definitely here. It's down in the basement right now. But right now for these broadcasts, since we're all janky style here with the iPhone and what have you, I don't have all my gear set up. Great question. Doug's saying, do I need to upgrade my tuners to locking tuners or the stock tuners that came on my guitar okay? It depends. I can tell you that locking tuners don't do what most people think they do. People think that locking tuners, that if they get those for their guitar, that all of a sudden their guitars are going to stay in tune. That's not the case. That's why folks with locking tuners oftentimes will buy them, and then their guitars still go out of tune. And then you see other people like Yngwie Malmsteen, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, or whatever, playing Strats, right, which don't have anything locking on it, and they can keep them in tune. So it's really understanding the art of staying in tune, and there's some tricks to that. I teach that inside the program. I teach it on YouTube. So don't worry about getting locking tuners. They're not going to do what you think they do. Now, that being said, you could have crappy tuners that go out of tune. It's rare, but I've run into it before. And in that case, yeah, it'd be good to have tuners that just keep your string where they're supposed to be, okay? Oh, if you mean e-guitar as in an electric guitar, is that what you mean? E-guitar is electric guitar? I have recommendations for that. Any gear recommendations that you guys are wanting to know about, acoustic, electric, or otherwise, is below. I have a link. It'll say something about gear, but it's near the bottom of the page. You guys ask so many questions, and I love that, but I need a way to just send you there instead of like remembering all the different gear and all the rest. So you just got to go to there, and you'll find all the stuff that you're looking for, okay? When we learn things like hybrid picking, two-hand tapping, etc., how do we add the different techniques we learn into a single strumming or solo? I'm so sorry, Saksham, that question doesn't make sense. So I can't answer it. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you find the Yamaha silent guitar a useful instrument to practice technique when trying to be quiet in a house full of kids? I don't own an electric, but I have a nice acoustic. Jason, they're probably just as silent as a regular electric. I don't own one, so I don't know. But yeah, I do. I use an electric guitar for that. Do I rate any Telecaster copies and which ones? No, I do not. Just get a Telecaster. Just get a cheapo Telecaster. You know, they've got them in all different price ranges. Do you have any lessons on how to play fretless guitars? No, don't play a fretless guitar. They sound terrible. They sound wretched. The chords don't sound right. Can't do it. Francisco, thank you so much for the donation. Very much appreciated. How do you make a beautiful bend like B.B. King? So if you're practicing your bends, play a note and then bend up to it. First, you got to work on your intonation. And B.B. King, that's what he does. Is he's got that kind of fast vibrato. You know, he's got that. That's what. He's got a faster vibrato. So do a fast vibrato to sound really good. What you're looking for. RG Pops, locking tuners make string changes easier and faster. Yeah, I should have said that. They really do. They're really cool like that. But they don't necessarily keep your guitar in tune like people think. Scalloped frets basically give you a little bit of a lighter touch, it is said. If you notice when you're pressing down, if you look at the side of your guitar, you'll notice that if you're using proper fretting technique. Jason, thank you so much for the donation, friend. Super kind, buddy. Thank you. If you look at the guitar from the side, if you're using proper technique, you'll notice that your finger itself is not touching the fretboard at all. You're literally on a tightrope wire here with your finger, and it's not touching the fretboard, okay? So scalloped frets exaggerates that so that you have nothing to hold on to there. A lot of people think, oh, that'll be so weird. But no, you're probably doing that already to much of a degree. Okay, if you're playing on the string, that's what's keeping your finger where it's at. It's not the wood that's underneath the fret. So scalloped frets, you know, Yngwie Malmsteen is a big fan of them. And yeah, help you to... I don't want to say they help you play faster because they're not going to make you play faster. Practicing makes you play faster. There's no pick that makes you play faster. You know, you could say that lowering your action would make you play faster, but it doesn't make you play faster. It just makes less fatigue so that you could play faster if you were a faster player, which only comes through practice, okay? What pedals should you get first? You should get a looper pedal. Very important to get a looper pedal, and then also some sort of overdrive pedal. Joshua, can't seem to get my finger flat on the board for chords. Any tricks? Joshua, watch my video on YouTube called the effing F chord. The effing F chord. It's longer, so it would take 15 minutes for us to go over right now. Watch that video. Stafford, those are people in my crew. The blue. Yes, those are people in my crew. There's so many styles of looper pedals. Which is the best to get for a real beginner? Check out my store, the store below. TC Electronic Ditto pedal is a perfectly fine pedal to use for a beginner. All right, great. Still looking for some more questions here. Friends, like this video if you haven't already, and please share it with somebody. Allows you to move along the fretboard quicker? Kind of. Again, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to be able to play any. You're not going to be able to play any faster, right? If you were given a NASCAR right now, which drives super fast, I think like 180 miles per hour, and you went to the track, and somebody else had a car that did 195, and they were a seasoned player, a seasoned driver, and they keep beating you at driving, you're last place every time, it's probably not your car, because you're probably not even getting the car up to 180 miles per hour because you don't have the ability to, because you're scared, because you haven't practiced enough. So it's probably not the car that's holding you back. This is why I really emphasize this, even though it's not the cool thing to do. It would sound much cooler if I was telling you, oh, you need this kind of guitar, and this is what serious guitar players use. But that would be a lie, because at the end of the day, it's your practice and lack of practice that's holding you back, not your guitar. Chances are, 99% of you that are asking the question, it's not your guitar that's holding you back, it's you. Sorry, you cannot like me for it, but it's the truth. I've found having a keyboard handy while learning guitar theory has been very helpful. Do you agree? Kevin's asking. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Yes, I 100% agree with that, because you can look and see everything right before you. You can see the accidentals, right? The sharps and flats. You can see just all the chords before you. So, indeed, super helpful. All right. Someone's saying here, is the Zoom G5N multi-effects pedal any good? And if we buy that, do we need a separate looper and overdrive pedals? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I would seek out Zoom for that, because I'm not a Zoom representative. I wouldn't know about that. Probably, though. I seem to be pressing too hard on the strings to make the notes. Very common at first. What would you suggest? I do get the right pressure on the strings. Dennis, what happens a lot of times for beginners is they press too hard on the strings. What I mean by too hard is they're trying to compensate for lack of technique, which they shouldn't have at first, because they haven't earned it yet. This is not saying anything mean, it's just like you haven't earned it yet. My child, who, if he was learning to walk, right, you know how they're doing all this stuff, and they're walking like this, and they're using like all these muscles to try to balance. I wouldn't suggest that to go walk a marathon or run a marathon or something like that, because you would be very worn out by the end of it. But when you're learning at first, you're just trying to keep balance. So you're trying to compensate. You're just trying to keep balance. And when you're playing at first, you're just trying to keep that note from not being muted out. So yes, you're going to be using pressure, probably too much pressure. In time, with practice, that will even out, but not before then. Okay. Cheap guitar, nice amp, or cheap amp and nice guitar for tone? If you took a cheap guitar and ran it through a really nice amp, it's going to sound better. Arguably, you would. This is not a vacuum. You would have. It's very subjective, but for the most part, it's going to sound better than a great guitar through a real cheap little amp. Okay. Can you recommend a volume pedal? Yeah, let me think. Shoot. The Clyde wah, that's my favorite. The Clyde wah is both a wah and a volume pedal. Get that one. Ah, Jeff, thank you so much for the donation. Selflessly sharing your vast knowledge and taught me my first song, Rumble, which I love, right? That's a fun one, which, by the way, was not allowed to be played on the radio because it was thought of being a rebel song and that it was going to get the kids all crazy, like Reefer Madness or something. Isn't that funny? We've come a long way. Let's see. Volume pedal. Yeah, that's the one I would suggest is the Clyde wah by Full Tone. I love that thing because it's also a wah-wah. You press it, it's a wah-wah, boom, you press it, and it's a volume pedal. Super cool stuff, right? See you, Frank. Someone's saying, best video for learning bar chords technique. Practice with bad technique is wasted practice. Indeed, Murray. On YouTube, open up another tab right now. Search Your Guitar Sage bar chords on YouTube. I have a 2-part series. Watch both of them. Nice and slow. Also, watch the effing F chord before you watch that bar chords video. Effing F chord. 3 videos to watch. Effing F chord, bar chords number 1 by Your Guitar Sage, bar chords number 2 by Your Guitar Sage. Watch all of those, okay? I hear about tall frets, short frets, pros and cons. Larry, if you're a new player, don't even worry about that. But essentially, tall frets, they feel a little bit lighter when you play. So, but don't worry about that right now, okay? Tall frets, typically most people like taller frets or bigger frets, jumbo frets. When I play chords, all the strings do not play, and there are at least one string that doesn't play. How can I correct this? Now I have to lay it my fingertips, but still couldn't get it. Movieaholic, get in the free series that I'm giving to you today because I talk about that in high detail. This is not something that you would get a flippant answer and get and understand this. You've got to watch the videos for this, okay? The second link below will give you access to that for free, okay? Michael's saying, I'm confused about how the minor and major pentatonic use the same caged form in different way. Can you help explain? Mike, not in this video because that's a 15-minute explanation. I can basically give you the same idea. Every major key has a related minor key. Every minor key has a related major key. And the only thing that means is they share the exact same set of notes. Don't overthink this. They are basically the same exact scale, except you're going to emphasize one note over the other note. So in a major key, the major note is going to be emphasized, and in a minor key, the minor note is going to be emphasized. So for instance, if we were playing A major or A minor, that's our home bass. If we were playing the C major version of it, which is the related major, but it's still the same notes, and you can hear it's similar. Thomas, thank you for the donation. Super kind. Super kind, my friend. I know that it differs from person to person, but how do you see the fretboard when playing? I.e., what do you target by root notes, chord shapes, scale shapes, inversions? All. I see it all, and that's only happened because I keep adding new things. So I talk about springboards. That's something you could search. That's the first thing you should search for your question here. On YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage springboards, and I'll show you about that. The cage system is very helpful. Knowing your pentatonic shapes is helpful. Let's see, understanding where all your root notes are at all times. So like for instance with E, this is just kind of knowing where my root notes are at all times, that would be very helpful, because if I'm soloing in the key of E, I got all of these places where I could actually play these notes and resolve my phrases and that sort of thing. But it's little bite-sized pieces that you're adding. Scale shapes, very, very helpful as well, yeah. Why do we say 11ths and ninths on a 7th note scale instead of just 2s and 4s? Is this the octave? Jason, that's a great question. Yes, it's the octaves. So the reason that we're saying that is because basically we're extending the octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or 8, right? Because it's the octave. 8, 9. So there's the 9 of the chord if you wanted to add that into your chord, or you could add it up there. You could do a 9th chord like that. But when I add the 11th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's a, or if I wanted to add a 9 and an 11, or 13, I could throw the 13 in there. So you're just adding on top 1 octave over. Yes, indeed. And I cover that in detail inside of UGS, building those embellished chords, okay? That's what we call embellished chords. Do you have a tuner on your pedal board? If so, which one? I have the Polytune. That's one that I have. And then also like my Kemper, that's just straight up built into it, okay? Eric, when I play on my fingers, especially the ring and middle fingers attached to one another, is there a way to separate them? There is. You're the only guy that can control it, because you're the only person in control of your fingers. But that takes you not just flippantly trying to move them. It takes a real specific focus type of attitude. So for instance, like if you just look at your hand, you go, I'm gonna bend my pinky without bending these other fingers. I'll just go, oh, that finger's bending, right? But if I go, okay, let's try that again, but without bending that finger, I may have to sit here and actually focus on it, and that finger wants to move so badly, but I can bend it and not get that finger to do it. But a lot of times it takes actually physically thinking about that finger moving. And this is a great exercise to do, because actually it's a similar process. You're building neural paths and you're making them independent of each other by doing this sort of thing. So you can do the same thing when you're playing guitar. But you have to practice these separate exercises. Follow exercise number 1 as I teach it in the free course that I'm giving you today, the second link below, okay? All right, friends, we're gonna be going about another 15 minutes. And then hopefully, I'm pretty sure my buddy Corey Congilio is gonna be doing a live broadcast right after this as well, so you can continue the magic with him. He's an amazing guitar player and an amazing teacher, a good buddy, and swell dude, just super kind. So check him out. He's a raging guitar player. When I grow up, I want to play like him. And he teaches as well as he does play. So check him out after this. And in fact, we're actually talking about doing a course together for the Unstoppable Guitar System. So obviously we're on hold right now, but okay. When I bend the low E, I hear a sound on my bridge, and it's weird. Do you maybe know what it is? If you're talking about, if it's like a pinging noise, it's because you are relieving pressure here, and it means the nut needs to be cut correctly. But no matter what it is, that's hard to diagnose over the internet. So what you want to do is you want to get together with somebody who knows this. So get together with a great luthier, guitar luthier, that can actually guide you through this and say, okay, this is what it is, this is the problem, okay? Okay, so yeah, Corey Congilio. Let me see if I can put this on. I tell you what, I think Corey is, oh, he's right there. Corey, please put in your link there for your show so that folks can go straight into it. So Corey is actually in the chat here, and he'll be he'll be taking over here at 1 o'clock, just a little bit after 1 o'clock. Actually, he'll be going on live at 1-ish. And so head on over there. But I'm going to ask him to drop that link in there. So JR, right above you is Corey. And he's going to continue some lessons today, okay? Do I have any regrets about my Kemper? Got lots of tube amps, been playing tube amps my whole life, from Marshall to Mesa Boogie to Fender to whatever, and I still love them, but man, I am in love with my Kemper. Absolutely love my Kemper. And no, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm in love with it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. It's freaking amazing. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, okay, thank you so much for posting that. Yes, you will not be disappointed by Corey. He's a beast. What was the positive news site you recommended yesterday? It's called Some Good News. Some Good News. S-O-M-E. Separate word good, separate word news. Some Good News. It's by John Krasinski, who is on The Office. And he said, I want to focus people on things that are good and happy and great things in the world. So why don't I start my own news network? My wife and I always joke about this, but it's true. And he actually did it. He started his own news network, and it's just literally focusing on the good stuff. But Eric, what about all the negative stuff? I can't go to sleep unless I know all the negative things happening in the world. Okay, see every other news station there is in the world, okay? Otherwise, you're not gonna find that crap on his station, okay? Are we getting homework each lesson? You are, if you're in the free course that I'm giving you. All the homework's in there. If you're not there, you need to be. Also, don't forget to download the PDF. It's the first link that's below this, okay? Get in there, download that PDF. It will walk you through what we're doing every single day, because every single day I'm going to be teaching a beginner lesson and an intermediate advanced lesson, separated by the hours. So one at 11, one at noon, and then you can follow the protocol that I have through the through the course, okay? I'm walking you through the course, okay? Essentially. Question, GuitarSage, if you would give someone 3 tips for an intermediate, what would you give? Thomas, okay, I would say develop your ear. Get a really good ear to where you, thank you so much for the donation, Watch You for Man, or Watch Man for You. Thank you for the donation, Larry, beautiful, $25, so kind, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Develop your ear. Make sure your ear, use your ear all the time. You develop your ear. You can get better at it. There's never stopping. You never arrive. You're always going to be developing your ear. So be developing your ear a lot. If you're not using improvisation, if you're not improvising, you got to be improvising. Know the Nashville number system. Those are the 3 that I would say to do. Those are more intermediate type of things to do that will make you a beast of a player. If you're not doing those things, you're just always going to be playing other people's songs. There's nothing wrong with that. We need those kind of guitar players to play in cover bands and that sort of thing. But you can also create. Every single one of you is a creator. If you can string more than one note together, you are a songwriter. It just depends on where you're at in your songwriting skills, and that only comes through practice, okay? No one was born into this. My wife doesn't write platinum records out of the gate. She didn't do that. She wrote crappy songs at first, and then less crappy songs, and then medium songs, and then pretty good songs, and then platinum record songs, okay? That's how it always works. It always works like that, okay? Never has not worked like that. Thank you so much, Kelly. Kelly's in the first 30, and she loves it. What is your technique for learning a new song? Well, first thing I do is I find out what the tonal center is. I listen to the first chord, last note of the chorus. I find out what the tonal center is. Immediately, I want to know what the tonal center is, because that's going to let me know, am I going to be capoing? What key of the song, what's the key of the song? I'll usually just listen down to it one time, make sure there's nothing crazy in it. And I'll be like, okay, so there's 3 parts. There's a bridge, there's a chorus, there's a verse. Boom. Okay, it's using these 3 or 4 chords. Boom. Okay. There's that one wonky chord that comes out, that falls outside of the key. Okay, I'll remember that. And then, so I kind of just evaluate it the first time through, then I go through again, maybe chart it down, but usually not. I usually just memorize it and follow the chords as per. This is stuff that didn't just come to me. I've learned it. It doesn't just come to anybody. Everybody has to learn this. Corey had to learn this. I had to learn this. You have to learn this. Jimi Hendrix had to learn this. Nobody just gets it. You're not born with it. You earn it. You learn it. What's a couple of good ways to practice away from your instrument? That's a great question, Frank. So you could be Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie, for the donation and the cute little avatar there, the fun little fox or whatever that thing is. Thank you. Ways to practice away from the instrument. Number one, you could be exercising your hand. That's always good, to be moving your hands, to be exercising them, to be doing little exercises. 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3. You could use the protocol that I give you inside of the free course in regards to the exercise 1 with all the 24 variations. You could do that. But what I like to do is I like to think about music. I either get a piece of paper out and I will, I don't have to do it so much anymore because I have a pretty good grasp of what the fretboard does. Even though I find stuff every now and then that I missed somewhere along the line or that just didn't jump out at me. So I'll get out a piece of paper and I'll write stuff out, or I'll work on theory on a staff, or I may read books on music or watch videos. There's lots of different things you can do. Dom, thanks so much for the donation. You guys are super generous today. Wow. Very much appreciate that. Super kind. Get your Nashville numbering system chart. Yes, indeed. Whoa, thank you, Thomas Rosales. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Thank you for answering my question, GuitarSage Thomas. You're so welcome, buddy. My goodness gracious, guys. You guys have donated over $200 today, and that is super duper helpful for me to continue to pay the staff and continue to pay the studio that I'm not going to be using for a month and a half here. It's very, very expensive. Thank you so much. Every donation helps out. I really, truly appreciate it. When would you say is the right time to upgrade your amp? What are the good reasons in your opinion? Because you want to. That's the only reason. If you got the money to and you're able to and you've bought enough toilet paper and enough dry goods for the month, then go get an amp. Okay? Upgrade your amp when you want to. That's the only reason you need. Seriously. Oh, thank you, Mark. This guy is a good guy. Give now. Thank you. All right, we got about another 8 minutes here, okay? And then I'm going to hand it off to Corey. I want you guys to go to Corey Congilio's live broadcast right after this. Amazing player, okay? What is your sound coming from through your Kemper? PA speakers or something else? Great question, Drew. So when you guys hear it, when I'm doing covers or anytime you hear that Kemper, it's being run direct. So I have a full range monitor sitting in front of me, which allows it to sound like what you guys hear, but literally the sound that you're hearing is straight out of the Kemper, straight into the board. Isn't that amazing? And it still sounds that beautiful. No mics, no nothing. It's all modeling. Okay? And modeling is really, I guess that's the word to use. Yeah, it's a modeler. Yeah. What would you say is a good amp for around $500 to $600? I would say a Blues Junior would be a good one, or a nice Fender amp. Go see my gear store below to find out more about the gear that I would recommend for the different price ranges, okay? I cannot see the donation tab. So at the very bottom of the page, M. Burner, at the very bottom of the page, you'll see a little smiley face, and right next to that is a little S with a line through it. If you click on that, you can donate. How can one learn to play solos with, golly, how can one learn to play solos without knowing almost nothing of music theory? I've been playing guitar for some years and I still can't figure it out. Well, Manuel, let me ask you this. If I went to China, not that I'm going, but if I were to go to China and I tried to talk to these people, and they're all talking in Mandarin, and I just tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried. But hell, I can't order a daggone poke bowl. That's not in China. I'm sorry. Somebody out there is offended. Let's say I was ordering, I don't know, some Chinese dish, and I couldn't order it, and they couldn't understand what I'm saying. how am I going to, how are they going to understand me unless I'm speaking their language? How are you going to understand how to solo without understanding the language? So there is no way. You're trying to go a shortcut, Manuel. You have to learn this stuff. Get in the free program that I'm providing for you today so that you can learn at least a modicum of music theory so that you can understand this basic stuff, okay? There's no way. How can you do it? There is no way, okay? You have to learn the language, okay? We're at 450 likes. Yeah, my friends, if you can bump that up to 500 before we go, I will shave my head tomorrow. No, I won't. That's a big fat lie. Just go ahead and like this if you would. Not doing any of that weird stuff. Just like it because I'm here for you and I'm doing stuff for you. Okay, that'd be cool. Thanks. And share also, okay? Does a rosewood fretboard feel different than a maple, or is it just an individual preference? It's just individual preference. You won't notice a difference. No. Do you still recommend the Line 6 modeling amp? Yeah, they're great. I love Line 6 stuff. Fantastic stuff. I love it. But right now I'm a Kemper guy, and I'm so in love with their stuff. And I was Line 6 for years. And I don't have their newest modeler, and Robbie Calvo, who I just did a course with, he has it, and he says it's amazing, so I trust him. He's got great tone. And all these technologies, it's like iPhone or Google phone, right? And they argue and they argue. It's all the basic same technology. They go to all the same goofy tech shows that us musicians do at NAMM and everything else. It's basically the same technologies. It's just other people are using them for the most part. If it's a high-end bit, you know what I'm saying? Okay, start with the free 30. It's the cup that holds your coffee. 100%. Yeah. You want to go to China and eat their food? No, I don't. I don't want to go there. All right, 4 more minutes, my friends. I'm going to literally at like 1:01. I'm going to leave. Okay, so I'm going to wait till a little after 1, and then I'm going to direct you guys over to check out Corey. And we'll put that link in the description of this right afterwards. Head over there and check his stuff out, okay? But let me just kind of summarize what it is that we're doing here. We got 30 days to establish some great habits here. We're in day 2 of the 30-day guitar challenge. We're allowing you into the Unstoppable Guitar System. The second link below will allow you access to that for free. If you're ready to jump in and you're serious about learning guitar and you want 1,000+ videos, 600+ jam tracks, live broadcasts from me. By the way, I'm going live again tonight at 7 p.m., 4 o'clock on Friday. Then do that. Get in there. Many options for you, but at least take advantage of the free, and it really honestly is free. We have more than 500,000 people that have taken my free courses, or taken all my courses together, I should say, but many of them in the free, okay? So do that. Download the PDF. It's the first link below there. It will tell you what we're going to be doing every single day, so you're not left with your pants down. You'll know exactly what we're doing. With your pants down? What the heck is he talking about? I say weird stuff sometimes. I've been strumming for 20 years and have not made any progress. I'm really dying to play blues, but don't know where to start, though I know the pentatonic scales. Kili, start with the free 30 lessons. Get in there, and then if you really want to learn of the other stuff, I have access for you. You can get into the whole Unstoppable Guitar System for $1 and try that, test drive that for 30 days, okay? Check that out. And I have tons of blues lessons in there. Speaking of blues, Corey, who is going to be going live, my buddy Corey Congilia is going to be going live here at 1 o'clock. He's a beast of a blues player. Watch him, okay? I've learned lots of stuff from Corey. He's an amazing player. Check him out, okay? He'll be going live right after this. He's probably getting set up right now. It's it's youtube.com/Corey Congilia, CONGILIO. Check him out, okay, after this, 1 o'clock. I clicked on donate and the message disappeared. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, my friend. Okay. I learned blues first, makes things easier. It can, yeah, for sure. And yeah, to finish this up as well, so for the next, until the 30th, I'll be doing a 1 hour lesson that's going to be beginner and answering your questions, and then at 12 o'clock I'll be doing an intermediate advanced lesson, and then I'm going to get to your questions there as well. Jason, if you would please throw up the link for Corey Congilio. Folks, head over to Corey again. He needs way more subscribers than he has because he is such a great instructor and he's such a great player. So please check him out. He's a friend and an amazing guitar player. You do not want to miss what he's showing you, okay? Session player, live player. I can't say enough great things about him, and just a good guy. Hello, mate, Ozzy from London, where I honestly cannot get any better. I have tried private lessons and YouTube lessons. Musicians, some people are just not meant to play guitar. No, that's not true, Ozzy. Don't tell yourself that. Or if you're okay with that, if you don't want to improve, then don't improve. But that's not why you wrote that message. You wrote that message because you know that's not true. Otherwise, you would just resolve that that was true and you wouldn't have put that message up there. You know that's not true. You're hoping that I can throw you a bone and hoping that I can give you some hope. And Ozzy, I'm telling you, I can. It's that you're leaving holes. You're skipping stuff. And when you skip stuff, you're not going to be successful in it. Take right now, the second link below, or get into the Unstoppable Guitar System, okay? That's all I got for you today. I will join you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Again, we're going to go live again for day 3 of the Guitar Challenge. Don't forget to download the PDF right now. It's the first link below. Thomas, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate it, my friend. You guys really showed up with the donations today, and I truly appreciate it. We keep the lights on at the studio that I'm not using for the next month here. Thank you so much. Download the PDF. Get into the course. I love you guys. Beautiful questions today. Go over right now and go see Corey. He's a beast of a player. That's what I'm going to do. All right? I'll see you guys.